Welcome back, everyone. Governors of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, yesterday rose from a meeting in Ibadan, Oyo State capital, where they unanimously rejected a possible merger or coalition with any political party for the purpose of wresting power in 2027 general election. In a communique signed by its chairman and governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, the forum resolved not to join any coalition or merger arrangements with any political party, groups or associations. However, they noted that the PDP, being a major party, will welcome any party, persons or groups willing to join forces with a view to wresting power and enthroning good leadership in 2027. So on one hand, the PDP says they're not interested in a merger or coalition with any political party. On the other hand, they're open to any party, persons or groups willing to join forces, which is it exactly. Joining me tonight is public affairs analyst and convener, Reset Lagos PDP, former member, PDP National Presidential Campaign Council, Dr. Adetokunbo Pearse. Good evening, Dr. Pearse. Welcome to Politics Now. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's so good to have you in the studio. Right, so your governors have spoken. They addressed two major issues. The forum had said the PDP would not be joining any coalition, meaning anyone from the PDP who is spearheading any coalition is doing that at its own detriment. The second, the forum also addressed another major issue that has further divided the party. Who exactly is the national secretary of the party? So let's start with the latter. Are you impressed or pleased with the directive of the governors? Are you pleased with the directive of the governors or the resolution of the governors forum?
That was my opinion quite a long time ago. Oh. I know I've been involved in such attempts to wrestle power from the governing party by forming mergers. I can tell you that toward the 2019 election, I was part of the group of people who left the PDP to join the SDP. In fact, I ended up as the governorship candidate of the SDP in Lagos State in that 2019 election. And our purpose was to form a group and wrestle power from, because at that point in time, Nigeria was very dissatisfied with the PDP and the APC. So we thought a third party, but we formed what they call the CUPP, Coalition of United Political Parties. There are about 20 political parties there, and it ended up nowhere. There was conflict, there was rivalry, even parties that didn't have an office space anywhere. Their candidates were vying for presidency. So it doesn't work. It's never worked because of the precedents, the history of mergers, and also because regarding the current situation, the merger between SDP, Labour, NNPP, and PDP would mean that all of them come together and they will have to have one name.
Yes.
Now, imagine PDP. I mean, let's be honest. The largest political party in West Africa held power in this country for 16 years. We have structures in every nook and corner of Nigeria. Every ward we have PDP, every ward. Unlike most other parties, the only other party in Nigeria right now is the APC. All the others, really, there's nothing to talk about. Now, why would the PDP merge with who?
Smaller parties. Which
smaller parties? It will end up nowhere. Unless, as the governor said, anybody who wants to join the PDP, whether as a group, as a political party, as an individual, is welcome. After all, in the 2023 election, if it wasn't for Peter Obi, who went to the Labour Party and took away our Igbo votes, our Christian votes in the north, certainly the results would have been much in favor of the PDP.
Some Nigerians say that's the PDP consoling itself.
Pardon?
Some Nigerians say that's the PDP consoling itself.
Well, it sounds like it, but look at it logically. After all, most people, even in the APC now, most of the leaders of the APC are people who left from the PDP. We trained all of them. We're happy some of them are not with us because they are crooks, so many of them. So we're happy that they are not with us. We don't need such people. So the PDP stands alone. All the PDP has to do is to work within its own problems and its own challenges, strengthen its base, communicate with its people, bring people back into the fold, people who have left, like Peter Obi and people who went with him, come back into the fold, communicate with our people, work with your base.
Is that still possible?
Well, it is not only possible, it is feasible, and it is being done right now.
Okay.
PDP is getting stronger and stronger. We don't have any major problems. APC has never had a national convention since it came into office. We don't even know what the National Working Committee of the APC is. They've never had a governors forum. So we are the only legitimate political democratic party in Nigeria today. So why would we need to go and form with anybody else? Change our name? Come on.
So, and I'm sure that's why Nigerians are very disappointed in the PDP and have raised concerns about this lingering crisis in the PDP. What the governors did yesterday was to buy time. I mean, that's what some political observers are saying. They said, let the Deputy National Secretary take charge while we look for other means of resolving this quagmire. But as a well-respected member of the party, let me pose a direct question to you. By your own political calculation, who is the National Secretary of your party?
As we stand now, Udo Ugoye is the national chairman, the national secretary of the party. Anyanwu is the former national chairman of the party. That is what the Constitution says. That is what the court says. Anyanwu is fighting a losing battle. He's a desperate man hanging on straws. I don't blame him for fighting. But he's no longer. We don't have two national secretaries. We have one. And his name is Okoye. So what you call buying time is trying to minimize the legal implication of Anyanwu's interference. Okay. What the court said, the last thing the High Court said was that this issue of national secretary is not to be decided by the court. It's an internal matter. This is the legal issue of the party. And the party has decided, now let me explain this. Party has decided that Anyanwu is no longer the national secretary. However, according to the constitution of the party, which the court also is aware of, which Anyanwu also is cognizant of, is that it is only at the national convention of the party that you can legally, formally, properly decide on this issue. Okay. Even though it had been decided in-house, indirectly. Because Anyanwu tried to visit the meeting in Ibadan yesterday. Everybody ignored him. It just shows you, it is obvious, the divorce is complete. You should go. So what is going on now is that when we have the convention, which will be in August, I believe, yes, it will be formally decided that Anyanwu is gone, and the deputy national secretary who will be acting just for a couple of months will now formally step aside for Okoye, who is the official, recognized national secretary of our party.
But for the purpose of clarity, what does the Constitution, the party's Constitution, say about such issue? Because for Senator Ayabu, he's saying that, I mean, his argument is since neither resigned nor was suspended or expelled, his position remains intact.
Well, he can say anything he wants to say.
But what does the Constitution of the party say? The Constitution
says, first and foremost, this whole thing started when he went to vie for governor in Imo State. By our Constitution, and I've read it again and again, you have to resign your position, one position, to go and run for another one. I mean, consider, does it not make common sense that you cannot hold the secretary and then you are 6 months away in Imo State running for governor? So he resigned, he claimed he didn't resign. Now, if you didn't resign, by law, you have committed a crime. So once you leave your office, you are technically resigned. So he left his office, and that is where the problem started. When he lost the election in Imo State, he now wanted to come back to his office, which at that point was being run by the current Deputy National Secretary, waiting for official word from the Southeast Geopolitical Zone, which recommended Anyanwu in the first place. Anyanwu is behaving as if he ran for election, he won election by himself. It was no recommendation. The Southeast Geopolitical Zone, according to the Constitution, recommended him, and he came there. So now that his position has been declared vacant by the Constitution of the party, by all the organs of the political party, by the court of law, the Southeast now is obliged to present another person to complete the term that was zoned to them. That is where we are. And the Southeast zone met several times. So all the leaders came together. The members of the party came together, unanimously said they want Udo Okoye to be the secretary. So that's where we are.
So I wanted that clarity because, Senator Anyanwu's camp is saying it is not clearly stated in the party's constitution that he must resign. So what is basically on ground is that he does not have the moral right to remain as the national secretary of the party.
Well, either technically, legally, or morally, Anyanwu has no case. He's gone. He's only creating problems. He wants to remain by all means, by force, but the divorce is complete. There's nothing he can do about it. We don't have a problem. You see, what he's doing is he's fighting. It's just like Wike fighting to say he's a member of PDP. No.
But he's a member of the PDP.
Yeah, by your actions, we shall know you. Say you are married, right? Somebody says, I'm your husband. And you know that the divorce is complete. We don't talk, we don't have anything to do in common. But legally, you are claiming to be your husband. No problem. The fact of the matter is, only in name, only in pretense. And very soon, we are going to get rid of him formally and legally. They will show he's not a member of PDP. How can you be a member of two political parties? He said publicly...
PDP is ready to expel Wike.
Definitely. He's already expelled. I am telling you now...
Officially?
Not officially, but look, morally, legally, he's not a member of the party. He tried to
carry a member of the PDP.
Anybody can carry. I still have my SDP card. I was the governorship candidate of SDP in 2019.
So you're a member of the PDP and you also
I am not a member of the SDP.
You're a member of the SDP.
I am a member of the PDP because as soon as you go away from the party, to go and join another party or proclaim support for the other party, you are no longer a member of the party. You may carry all the cards you want. Everybody in the party knows you are not one of them. So he's not a member of our party. Let him pretend to be. Same thing Anyanwu is fighting. By force, by hook or crook, he must be the secretary. Oh, what a man with no character whatsoever. Disgraceful.
Dr. Pearse, let me ask you about the BOT of the PDP. Why has it been hard for the board to play its advisory roles properly by making sure that this crisis is nipped in the bud? I mean, this crisis has been on since 2023 or 2015 elections, since the PDP lost power. Why has this crisis remained intractable?
The PDP, all the organs of the PDP, National Working Committee, Board of Governors, National Executive Council, everybody has said this. They're all on the same page. They've always been. BOT has done its job. They have announced publicly. They were the first ones that even said, based on the Constitution, based on the law, Anyanwu is no longer the secretary. He went to court. He went to the social media. You see, what is going on now is a war of social media. That's all.
War of social media.
That is it. That you see people can say anything they want. They can make any claim. All they have to do is just keep posting it on the social media. I'm a member of PDP. I am the secretary of PDP. That's what's going on. But in reality, that's why I'm glad people like me have been able to come. You've invited people like me to come and explain. Technically, they are no longer there. The party does not have a problem. We don't have confusion. We are not confused about who our general secretary is. We know who our General Secretary is Okoye. And we know that if you have declared support for another party publicly, no matter who you are no longer a member of our party. So you can claim anything you want on social media. You can pay the media to say anything you want. You can say anything you want, do anything you want. But the reality is what I'm telling you now. We don't have any confusion in our mind in the party where we stand on these issues.
I'm also very confused as to why some top members of the PDP continue to blame the APC for its own predicament. For instance, Chief Dede Momodu won't stop saying the crisis in the PDP is sponsored by the APC. Also, former National Publicity Secretary Kola Olubodi, you seem to agree with this.
No.
Also alleged that the appointment of Wike, so talking about Wike now, who is a PDP member, and his involvement in the APC government is part of the strategy to orchestrate the collapse of the opposition party. I mean, are you embarrassed? Because, many Nigerians find it hard to believe that members of a party that was once the largest political party in West Africa are saying this. I mean, they fit, doesn't it?
It is not new. It is common strategy to try to destabilize the opponent for you to gain preeminence. So if it is happening, I don't blame the APC for doing what they're doing. They're doing everything they can to weaken the PDP because they know that PDP is the only opposition party that can get them out of office. And by the grace of God, for the good of Nigerians, we will. To save Nigerians from this catastrophic administration, the PDP is going to win in 2027, and we are going to constitute the government that will improve conditions for everybody. Now, let me tell you, what Dede Momodu and others are saying is true, but that does not stop PDP from doing what it has to do. I don't blame anybody for doing what they have to do to sustain themselves, to succeed where they want. So that's what APC is doing. Yes, indeed. I mean, what would you call a Wilson Wike who is claims he's in the party and working for the...
to say he got the permission of the Board of Trustees or the leadership of the party to work for the APC government.
The truth of the matter is he didn't get the support. You see, at the time that he was going, he gave the impression that he was going to represent the country. Okay. And he was going to be neutral. So maybe at that point in time, the acting national chairman gave him his blessing. But actions speak louder than words. So even if they told him...
Has he done anything to contradict that?
No, what I'm saying is, even if they gave him permission, they gave him permission on false pretenses that he was going to be neutral. But when he got there, he misused the promise. He began to work against the party. So the promise they made him, the permission they gave him, is now null and void. That is the situation we are in. But please, no matter what happens in the PDP, the issue is social media is confusing a lot of people. But we are not confused because the party is strong. Look, no matter what happens, with all this, is there any political party in the world where you don't have double agents working? It's always there. Trust me, we also have our people working in APC. And nobody, Tinubu thinks nobody, we have our own people. He has his own people, we have our own people. So we'll see what happens.
In the APC government?
Definitely. Definitely. We're also watching, we're also spying, we are finding out what they're doing. And at the end of the day, who is able to do the best work? But the
APC has not been crying foul. It's been the PDP top members saying, oh, the APC is doing all it can to destabilize our party.
Well, because of the prominence of crooked and wicked people like Wike. I mean, have you seen anybody in PDP saying, I'm working for APC, except this, or people in APC saying, I'm working for the PDP? No. If they do that in APC, I'm sure Bola Tinubu will get rid of them immediately. Unfortunately, PDP doesn't operate the same way. They go through all this system, look at the legal implication, look at what the Constitution says, look at the importance of the person in the party. It takes time. All right. Because we don't have one single leader. We are not an authoritarian political party like the APC. If it was APC, Wike would be gone now.
All right, Dr. Pearse. I mean, now that the governors have said we're not part of any coalition,
sure,
we do not want any coalition, do you see Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who is spearheading this coalition, remaining in the party? Do you think he would contest in 2027?
Look, again, you see, the PDP is so well structured. Personally, I don't talk the way some of our leaders talk about Atiku Abubakar. If the constitution of the party, if the arrangement for zoning in the party allows Atiku Abubakar to run, then he will run. Will he win? I doubt it. But to say whether he will run, that's not an issue. He's a card-carrying member of the political party.
Do you see him remaining in the party now that the governors have said we're not part of any coalition?
It depends on him.
He's spearheading a coalition now.
It depends on him. You see, because Atiku Abubakar, I was one of the major spokespersons for him in the last election.
But isn't that anti-party activities?
Pardon?
Isn't that anti-party activity? You're a member of the PDP and yet you're having meetings with some members of the SDP.
Nothing wrong with that, so far as he's not campaigning against the PDP. You see, what Atiku Abubakar is trying to do is in good faith, trying to strengthen the PDP so that it will take over power from the APC. However, I just disagree with his strategy. I don't believe it will work. The only time we had a successful merger in the history of politics in Nigeria, you know, the First Republic, when NCNC and the NPC came together, it didn't last 2 years before the whole thing collapsed and fractured the country, disintegrated politics in Nigeria, led to the Civil War. Now, let me tell you this. The reason why APC came to be successful merger was because the two major groups, parties in the coalition, had no national spread. CPC was only in the north. ACN was only in the south. And ACN brought like 3 million votes. What's his name?
CPC?
Buhari brought about 12 million votes. Because none of them had a national spread, they had to come together to present a national front. PDP has a national spread. We've had it for so long, we don't need any coalition with anybody.
I want to talk about Lagos PDP, but before that, the National Convention has been set for August 28th, NEC meeting now May 17. So ahead of these two major events, what are the issues that must be addressed for peace to reign in the PDP?
There is peace in the PDP.
Okay.
But for everybody to see that there is no crisis in the PDP, at the convention, once, you know, we have an acting national chairman, not a substantive national chairman.
Absolutely.
Once that issue of national chairman has been resolved, I think it's May 27, at the NEC meeting.
May 17.
May 17. Once it has been resolved at that meeting, in other words, the issue of the national chairman, because our national chairman left office in the middle of the game, now, of the season. Now, once the national chairman has been rezoned to the north, because to give the North Central time to complete his term, then we now know that the presidency is likely to come from the south.
All right.
So the issue of Atiku Abubakar, probably he has seen the signs already. Okay. This is the reason he's making the moves he's making now. All right. So he can run, he can do anything he wants to do if the situation allows him to run.
Right. We'll wait and see. Let's talk about Lagos PDP quickly. Just recently, the Lagos State PDP 2023 candidate, popularly called Jandor, left your party. It says, and I quote, "The Lagos PDP lacks discipline, citing persistent anti-party activities, internal sabotage, and lack of discipline within the party." It said the PDP failed to take action against several chieftains who sabotaged the party's candidate chances in the 2023 general election by working for the APC, noting that the situation would not change in 2027. Jandor says the PDP has failed to uphold internal discipline among its members. Are these the best names to describe the Lagos PDP?
Jandor is most guilty of every crime he has accused the PDP of. He came from the APC as a double agent to the PDP. He even boasted when he came to the PDP. We saw videos.
Consistently said he's not a double agent.
Yeah, well, that's what he says. But his actions, again, speak louder. As soon as he has some problem, a few months in PDP, he's running back to where he came from. So that's okay. Now, Jandor came into PDP. Within 3 months, he got the nomination. Under false pretext, the leaders were deceived. They believed that he had some power in APC. He was going to bring millions of people. It's Lagos for Lagos. Now we found out it was all a lie. There was nothing to it. And then when he came into PDP, he alienated everybody. Everybody. So when everybody turned against him, because he had turned against everybody, let me give you one example. The people who brought him...
In 30 seconds, sir, because we're out of time.
The people who brought Jandor, who sponsored him, Wike, Makinde, they brought him to Bode George. They made an agreement that he would support Wike for presidency. The next week, they found Jandor with Atiku in Abuja. That's the kind of person he is. So therefore, he betrayed everybody. So they turned against him. He went into that election alone. That's why he lost so badly.
I'm sure we'll continue this conversation some other time. Thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Adet Tokunbo Pearse, Public Affairs Analyst, Convener, Research Lagos, PDP former member, PDP National Presidential Campaign Council. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you so much.
And thank you very much for watching, everyone. Marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But before we